Hi guys, my name is Laura. I'm from a small town in eastern Iowa, and this is my third week in the Every Bit Counts challenge. So I'm starting off by doing some pineapple. I had 2 pineapple that were kind of starting to go, but not quite, and so I wanted to get them preserved so we could enjoy them later. I have a fruit salad recipe that I use pineapple for as kind of the base. And while I have quite a bit of store-bought left, I'd like to switch over to home canned. So I'm just going to do 4 jars this year, but I have a feeling next summer I'll be doing maybe a dozen or 2. So I'm just packing my jars, and then I do end up with a little bit of pineapple left, which is no big deal. Oliver thoroughly enjoyed that in a smoothie this afternoon. Now, most of the time you could use a light syrup with sugar and water, but these pineapple were so sweet, it did not need it. So I'm just using good old water and filling them up, and then I'm using just a wooden chopstick to debubble my jars. So that's what I'm doing here. I've been looking in my pantry and just seeing what still wet items I buy from the grocery store, and one of them was pineapple, which I'm doing now, mandarin oranges, and like hot dog chili, like canned chili. So I think I definitely want to put some emphasis on preserving that to eliminate the need for store-bought. Now, like always, I'm taking some white vinegar and cleaning my rims, especially with sweet sugary pineapple. Want to make sure I have a clean rim so that I don't have issues with sealing. Lids, rings, and we'll get this in the canner. So I let these process for 15 minutes for pints. I've got my munchkin here on my hip helping me take them out. And it's something I've never done before, and they look absolutely amazing. The vibrant yellow, and I'm so excited to be able to do more next summer to fulfill our fun pineapple fruit salad needs. Oliver and I went out on the town today, and our local farm stand had beautiful corn, so we picked up 4 dozen. And we got some bonus corn, some side shoots. So I was going to call this a baby corn, but it's more like a medium corn. But we did get some baby corn, so I'm going to make stir fry to use that up because I love baby corn. Love it, love it. So I shucked it all. The first project I'm going to do is from the Ball canning book. And they call it cream corn, but I beg to differ. But the instructions for this one said to blanch it. So I'm blanching my corn for about 3 to 5 minutes. And I'm only doing a dozen because I'm hoping to get 4 pint jars. So got all that out, and I did get a new tool for doing corn. And I'll show it to you here. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm going to assume it's user error, okay? But I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it. So it works really well when pushing it down. But the thing it sits on isn't tall enough to be able to do the whole ear. So, I don't know. And then I go to flip it around, and it's really hard to press down from that end. And then it makes a mess. I don't know. Maybe it's because the corn is cooked, and maybe it will work better on raw. I don't know. I don't think I'm a fan. And I've been eating corn on the cob my whole life. We live in Iowa. And even when I had braces, I would just cut it off the cob. So I think I can go without this special tool. But if you guys have it and you love it, tell me what I'm doing wrong, please. So I switched to a serrated knife, and I think it went a lot faster, a lot smoother. Part of that could have just been because that's what I'm used to. So I'm just getting it all off the cob, and then I'll show you what we do next. So the ball book says to then scrape all the pulp and milk out of the cobs. So that's what I've done with all the other ones. I figured I'd show you on this last one here. You can see a little bit of milk come through. So I just went through and did that to all of these, and don't worry, I gave all of the husks, silks, and I'm even giving the cobs to my chickens. Yes, I know you could make corn cob jelly, but I don't really have any interest in doing that this year. And my chickens were so happy, and they just turn into eggs. So no matter what, I get a byproduct. Now I'm supposed to add 1 cup of water for every 2 cups of corn. So I have 8 cups of corn, so I'm adding 4 cups of water. Then they said to mix it around, and that's creamed corn. This does not look like creamed corn to me at all, but I'm going to do it as such. I also added a little salt in each of my jars just for flavoring. You don't have to. So yeah, this is not the creamed corn like you'd see out of a store-bought can. So I think what I'll do is when I go to make my recipe, make my casserole, is when I open these jars, I think I'll just immersion blend it for just a couple blips, just to thicken it a little bit. Because to me, this is just regular corn. So anyways, I'm evenly distributing the solids, and then I'll top them off with liquid. The little bit that was left, I saved for Oliver to go with his lunch, and he was very happy to eat it. Don't forget to wipe your rims and debubble. New lids, rings, And these will process pints for 55 minutes in the pressure canner. Low acid food, so you have to pressure can it. Next, I'm doing whole kernel corn because the recipe that uses the cream corn also calls for the same 1 can of kernel corn. And so I've got a dozen ears here and hoping to get 4 pints. Fun fact is we actually don't like canned corn, except for in this one casserole recipe. We prefer to preserve it frozen in the freezer. So I have cut up all my corn off my cobs, and I'm getting 3 cobs worth of corn in each pint. So that makes for easy math. At least for us and our Iowa corn, it's three cobs per pint. So I went ahead and cut that off, fill in my jars, and you'll notice I'm raw packing these ones. No need to blanch. I wish I wouldn't have taken the time to blanch it on the cream corn, but that's what the ball book said, so that's what I did. Add a little bit of salt. You don't have to, but I choose to. Top it off with water, and then I will use my wooden chopstick there to debubble and add more water if necessary to adjust headspace. Now the other 2 dozen corn, we have 8, a half a dozen of it. So we still have 18 ears left. I'm probably going to freeze it, but I'm kind of waiting because I think we're having ribs this week, and that would be really good with ribs. So the other 18 ears are to be determined. So here I am wiping my rims and new lids, rings. These are pints, so they'll process for 55 minutes in the pressure canner as well. When we were down getting our pears last week, we pulled some more tomatoes, and they're now ripe enough. They were a little blushed yet. So I'm just doing these like I did last week. I'm just chopping off the end, scoring the bottom, cutting off any bad spots, and I'm just going to freeze these, and I'm pretty sure I'm just going to use this to make hot dog chili or canned chili. One of my son's favorite meals is chili mac, and that's what I use that chili for, so I might as well make my own and save the difference. So I'm just cleaning these up. You'll see that big one there had a bug spot. The bugs are really only attacking my Hungarian heart tomatoes, which is what that large one is. So I just have to cut around it, and my slicers are not ready yet. We have been waiting and waiting for one of my slicers to be ready so we could have BLTs. There's a lot on there, but they're just not ready yet. So this was an easy, quick preserve I could do. And we'll stick that back in the freezer and move on to the next project. So last week you saw me pick our pears, and these were kind of the lost leaders, the ones that weren't so great. I went ahead and gave them a wash. They're also super small, so I'm going to turn this into a pear sauce, which is similar and can be used the same way as applesauce. So some of these are not 100% ripe yet, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be sauced. So I'm peeling, coring, and just doing a real quick clean to make sure there's no bugs or bad spots on it. You'll see in my basket there's those pears that have the red on them. I don't know what kind they are, but oh my gosh, they are amazing. They were so sweet. I had my munchkin in here with me, so I cut up some of those ones and was giving them to him, and oh my gosh, they were amazing. So I am going to put a little lemon juice in the bottom of here to keep from browning. What I should have done is I should have soaked it in a lemon juice and water bath to help prevent it from going a little pink on me, but it's fine. It all tasted the same. So I'm just going to spend some time peeling, cutting corn, and we'll get rocking. All right, here we are. I'm putting them in my crock pot because we have plans with my son's great grandma today. So I'm gonna let this rock and roll while we are hanging out with her. And I just cooked them on low. So we're back home now, and I am gonna finish this up real quick. Everything's nice and soft. I'm gonna take my immersion blender to it and get it to the consistency that we like, which is no chunks. No chunks at all. And the immersion blender makes really quick work out of it. So then we like cinnamon applesauce and stuff. So I'm adding some cinnamon to it just to taste. And while the pears are sweet, I am going to add a little bit of sweetener to it. So I've got some organic cane sugar, and you can cinnamon and sugar it to your taste buds. So I went ahead and tasted it, and it was pretty much perfect. So I'm going to get it in jars, and we'll rock and roll. There's going to be a little bit left over, and I put this in a container, and Oliver had it the next day with his lunch, and he thought it was like the bee's knees. So I'm very happy with that. Once again, cleaning the rims, new lids, rings, and we'll get this in the water bath canner. These processed for 15 minutes, and they turned out great. So now I took the first half of the pears that were left, and these ones are bigger, a little bit nicer. At this point, these are perfectly ripe, and I'm just peeling them, and I went back and forth on what I wanted to do. But I ultimately ended up on just canning diced pears. So you'll see me, I'm going to go through and peel all these, cut off the tops, core them, clean them up, and get them in jars. Out of this big ol' mess I have on this towel, because I just washed them, I only found one worm, so I was pretty happy with that. And my chickens were even happier because I gave it to them. I gave all of the peels, cores, and even the one worm to my chickens, and they had a heyday with it. I have Oliver in the kitchen with me today, keeping me company, and we're getting ready to turn on some music and trying to get as much of these done as I can before he convinces me to play with him or watch a movie. So there, I just diced them, and I'm going to put some water and some lemon juice and soak them, which is what I wish I would have done for the ones I turned into sauce. And let them sit there to keep them from going brown, because I really don't want my beautiful pears to go brown before I even get them in the jar. So I'm just going to rock out as much as I can do here. Well, I've been convinced that we need to go watch Luca. So I'm taking the pears I have, which should fill this jar, and getting them in here. And then on the stove, I've done just a medium syrup. It was 2 cups of sugar to 5 cups of water, and I used organic cane sugar. That's why it has the little amber tinge to it. And I'm just gonna pour it all over my pears that I have in this jar, and then I will debubble and because I'm being pulled away, I'm just going to let this sit on the counter and cool down, and I will have to run the canner all at the same time once I have them all done. So here's a better look at it. Debubbling, clean your rim, new lid, and a ring. Sometimes you just don't have a chance to sit down and do a project. For me, being a mom is my number one priority, and stuff like this still make happen, but just not how I would normally have planned. So I did get back to it. I got all these jars processed in the water bath canner. I believe it was 25 minutes, but check, I don't remember exactly. So join me next week when I do more pears and my apples. They're on the docket. Have a good week.